was cool.
And we're back.
Almost like we know what we're doing. Episode number 176.
Oh,
We're getting up there.
right there.
Who's playing the drums? That would be Mr. Rowan. Paul plays the drums. Tell him about the intro, Paul.
What about it?
Well, what it is. Why are we using it?
Can't do that when I'm sipping on coffee.
We you know what? Maybe sometime when we do the intro, the next time I'll actually play the video and you can watch the video, and then they can see what goes on with it.
Awesome. Okay.
We'll leave it a little secret until then.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach for April the 6th. No, hang on now. May the 7th. Old notes. The Sunday night astronomy show. Yeah.
Hey.
I gotta say, you should have left it on the other screen.
I got the notes in front of me tonight so I can look at the camera. All right. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the host of this evening and creator of the social media channel known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada.
Hey, that's when we're supposed to do that.
First of all, I'd like to introduce our two regular co-hosts for this evening. Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, NB. Paul, good evening.
Hello there.
Hey. And our other regular co-host here on the program, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in beautiful St. John. Hey, welcome, Mike.
Hey.
Okay. Well, on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, you are under a sky full of stars, determined to catch a view of Saturn, our moon, or maybe even a distant galaxy. You have binoculars or a telescope as equipment. You're ready to go. Now, the rest is up to Mother Nature. Will she be kind? Well, what we'll see on any given night really depends on seeing conditions, from the transparency of our atmosphere to the darkness of our location. These features represent the most important elements of turning our evening into an accomplishment or a dud. In tonight's discussion segment, we'll take a closer look at what factors affect our seeing, how darker skies improve our odds of catching those night sky treasures. And on tonight's show, Mike will offer us another vinyl bud treasure to enjoy. Paul will be providing us with another interesting Rosanna's fun fact to share. I'll have a quick look at what to watch for in this week's sky, and one thing from next week's sky actually as well. And we'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share. And we'll also provide a little bit of an update on the possibility of aurora tonight in our area. So we'll take a quick look at the NOAA Space Weather Forecast site and see what they're saying at the moment. And we've also got some information about a new contest coming up. So we'll be talking about that. So this is a family-friendly interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time. And of course, we'd like to welcome back all of those who have been joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. So let's get started then with tonight's program and how seeing conditions and the darkness of our skies can affect the treasures we can see. There, that worked okay. I think. I see. Okay.
You're very transparent about that.
One person wave just doesn't do it.
You go first, Mike. Go ahead, and I'll do it.
I weave.
We'll have to work on that. We'll have to work on that before the show next time. Okay. Who wants to start?
Well, anybody, I guess. I guess if we're talking about seeing and transparency, there are two different ways to look at it, because it affects observing in one way, and it affects imaging in the same sort of way, but can be a little bit less forgiving on that side of it. So I'll just show, for example, I got two little pictures that I'm going to see if I can't bring up. Just a sec now, popped into the wrong place. Let me just see if I got that one. And then where's the other one? I'll make sure it's right behind it. There it is. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Are we open to do that?
Should be able to.
Okay, for some reason, my toolbar on the bottom is locked, so I can't seem to. Let's try this. Let's see if that's the share button. Oh, there it is. Good, I found it. Okay, so I'll show you an image here first. Let me know if you see it.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, there it is.
So I think if we all look real close, we can pretty well see that that's the Dumbbell Nebula, M27. But this is under what we would consider good transparency. And that just simply means that we can see our very dim target relatively well through an image. I think this is just one sub from a train of images. And then when you look at all the stars, there's all kinds of stars that are around there. And they're all nice sharp pinpoints. So this image here would have been under the conditions of good transparency. So in other words, there's nothing between you, well, there's always something, but less between us and what's out in space, so that our equipment can look through and be able to pick up this really faint data. Now, I'll show you the next image. Now you're going to notice that there's far less stars. You can see quite a few less stars in this image, and that nebula is all but gone. It's just not there anymore. So this would have been a case where some moisture got in between us and space, and because of this fogginess, if you will, it actually takes away a lot of that dim stuff we're trying to get. At the same time, if you've got bright stars and you're trying to image something like from a deep sky target like this, they're going to start to create these little halos around them. And when that, like I say, when you start to see this kind of stuff, you might as well pack your stuff up and go home, because you won't get the data that you need. And that's all affected by transparency. Now, transparency will affect the deep sky stuff. And in fact, it can actually, in some cases, help planetary stuff. So if you go the opposite from that, I'm just going to stop sharing here. So if you go the opposite of that, and you've got poor transparency, and you're looking at a very bright thing like a moon that's well lit, Venus, Jupiter, a lot of those things are so bright, they're very bright, and it's kind of hard to see some of the detail because of the brightness. And if you look at a sky that's got some transparency going about it, it can actually help with your viewing of planetary objects, or solar system objects rather. And the opposite with seeing. So now, for as far as seeing is concerned, seeing, of course, is the turbulence that basically moves back and forth in our sky. So if we're looking at an object, like the moon or something like that, and our seeing is poor, everything looks like it's shimmering. It's kind of like looking through a running brook, and where things are kind of in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And that kind of stuff is more effective on brighter targets than it is on the dim stuff, because the dim stuff, you don't really see the movement, but you certainly do see, the stuff that blocks that dim light from coming through. So there's a chart I've got here. I'll show you that too. And let me just see if I can put it up on the screen again. Let me see if I can make it large. There it is. Okay, and I'm just going to share my screen one more time. What are you seeing now?
Barrel cake, a whole bunch of shortcuts.
Okay. Let me just try that again. I don't know what happened. There, it didn't give me a choice as to what I could put up. There we go. All right, so now you should be able to see a chart.
Yep.
Now, in this chart is called, it's just an introduction, and it says, seeing and transparency are values that an observer uses to compare the quality of the sky from night to night. The values are very specific to an individual's observer's visual acuity. Seeing is a measure of how stable the sky is. Transparency is a measure of how clear the sky is. So most of the astronomical league, this is from the astronomical leagues where I picked this out of, by the way, observing programs require the observer to evaluate these conditions for each observation and to record them in their observation log. So if you are somebody logging, this is actually a good thing to log, because based on what you see will be based on what the sky conditions are. So here are two scales that are acceptable for all observing programs. They are simple to use and require no special equipment. Both of these values can be done very formally using special equipment, but for the observing programs, this level of effort isn't required. So anyway, that's just something from them. So seeing how stable is the sky, that's what it means. So they say for excellent skies, the brighter stars are not twinkling at all. For very good skies, the stars are twinkling just slightly, but the brighter planets are not twinkling. For good skies, brighter planets are twinkling slightly. For fair, the brighter planets are obviously twinkling or shifting. And poor skies, the atmosphere is turbulent. All objects are twinkling to the points where observation isn't practical. Now, there's the same, I won't go through the transparency thing, except for maybe a couple of them. Transparency is a measure of what you can see in the nighttime sky in spite of dust, smoke, haze, humidity, or light pollution. And an easy way to measure this is to use magnitude of the faintest star that you can see. Ideally, this would be looking straight up at the zenith, but to make life simpler, you can use the Little Dipper, or some minor rather, if you can see it. And here's here's kind of the scale they give you. If you can't see Polaris, it's considered a level 1. If you can only see Polaris, it's a level 2. If you can see those two stars on the end of the bowl with the Little Dipper, that's Kokab and Firkhead, that's a level 3. It goes right down to a level 7. So the higher the number, the better the conditions. If you can see the stars near the Little Dipper that are not part of the stick figure, I envy your skies and your eyes. Although atmospheric extinction will vary from season to season and from latitude to latitude, using the Little Dipper is simple and reasonable solution to use. So depending on how much of that Little Dipper you can see when you go out and look, that's going to be a good marker as to what types of transparency conditions are out there. Similar to those two pictures that I showed earlier on. When you start seeing less stars, you're going to see less fainter objects as well. So that's pretty much what the difference between transparency and seeing that I was able to come up with.
Okay. Maybe I'll take the lead here for a second, and I'll bring up a couple of little pictures I was going to show. Mike on his head. Yep. Hang on. Okay. So the next thing maybe is to talk a little bit about what's called scintillation. Let me share my screen here. This one maybe. Excuse me. Okay, so something called scintillation is another factor that we consider a lot. Now, the easiest way to differentiate a star from a planet in the night sky is to see if the object you're looking at is either flickering, or as the nursery rhyme goes, twinkling. But if stars twinkle, why don't planets? Well, twinkling is actually known as astronomical scintillation, the effect of the Earth's atmosphere has on incoming light. The light from the stars is not only coming from a very far away point, it's also reaching our eyes through only a small pinpoint. Now, this small pinpoint of light is easily bent and refracted through the Earth's atmosphere by pockets of different air densities and temperatures, which makes the stars appear to twinkle or scintillate. Planets are much closer, so it's a larger area of light that is reaching us through Earth's atmosphere. Now, the effects of scintillation are minimal in that case. So when we're looking at planets like Saturn and Jupiter, when they're higher up, or even Venus, I guess, when they're above, almost, they're highest up in their point as they're, what am I trying to say? As they're crossing the sky, the higher they are, the less atmosphere they have to pass through, that their light has to pass through. So not only are they closer to us, but they're also they have a larger larger area of brightness that is coming through the atmosphere. More photons of light scattered over a larger area, which means there's less scintillation. So that's why stars twinkle and planets usually don't. Something else here or not? We're going to talk about that border scale in a second, but here's another one. So why do some stars twinkle and other stars don't? Well, we all know the story about Capella, guys, eh? It's the star that usually gets the information that we're under a UFO invasion or something, because people see many different colors with a star like Capella. It gives off reds, greens, and it almost looks like a flashing light there sometimes. And that's because Capella normally sits fairly low, especially in the summer, fall, I guess, part of the season. So if you got a longer path of light, it's going to get more twinkle because it has a larger part of the atmosphere to pass through. Stars that are directly overhead, like Vega and those stars in that constellation we call Cygnus, I guess. Whatever that one is. Those stars have a shorter path, so they have less twinkle. But we all know that when we look at Orion in the wintertime and when we try Sirius, try to get serious here. Star Sirius seems to twinkle a fair amount too because it's lower, lower to the horizon than a lot of the stars overhead. So the higher the star is, the less twinkle they seem to appear or to give us anyway. So that's
just to expand on it. Don't change that slide just yet.
Okay.
When you're actually wanting to take pictures, because a lot of people take pictures of the moon and send them in to us. So all of the planets and everything kind of rises in the east and sets to the west, but the planets especially follow a pretty steady ecliptic. So it goes from the east to the west, and it never gets really high, and it's always going east to the west southerly, and you're never going to see them in the north. So when you look at that star, the one that's where it says short path, less twinkle, and then the long path, more twinkle, when you're wanting to take pictures of the moon or even the sun in the daytime, the higher up that you can shoot it, the closest you can to noon time, say, for example, in the sun, that's the best time to get it. And now you can see exactly why. Because if you're taking it just as it's coming up from the horizon, you've got to shoot through all of that jaggedy line that you see there, which is a way more horizon to go through. Now, Chris did a live feed of the moon rise the other night, and that moon looked so distorted and so weird. It almost looked like a blob being squeezed through a tube. And finally, as it got higher, it got round again. And the reason that it did that was because it was going through all of this atmosphere. And then eventually it gets up through that part of the atmosphere. And then it gets to a point where it stays nice and round and nice and clear, to the point where it gets the highest that it gets. That's the best time to take a picture of something or image something, because that's the clearest that you're going to be. And regardless of the seeing conditions or the transparency, at that point in the sky, that's the best view you're going to have of it. And with this image that you see here, and with Chris's sunrise, if you haven't seen it, it's on his YouTube channel. You should watch it. Watch that sun come up over the sea, and it doesn't look like a moon at all. And this is the very reason why.
Yep. Okay. Before I move over to Mike, since I'm right here, maybe we'll just talk a little bit about the Bortle sky.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I get the right slide here. That one, that one, this one here, I guess. Actually, the one before that isn't too bad either. It's the Bortle dark sky scale. So they are rated from 1 to 8, I guess, or 9. 1 to 9. Mm-hmm. The class of sky. Paul, you said you're right around 4, I guess.
Yeah.
And Mike, we're right around 5, somewhere high 5 probably.
Yeah.
The sky description is here at the top. Naked eye limiting magnitude. So what the limiting magnitude is by naked eye. So what you can see with your naked eye in that chart. The sky description is here, Milky Way. So how the Milky Way appears to your eye. Let's say Bortle 9 would be like, I guess, Toronto, downtown Toronto, that type of thing. New York City, Milky Way is not visible at all, even in an 8. At 7, it's totally invisible or nearly so. At 6, it's only apparent overhead and appears broken as the fainter parts are lost to sky glow. When you get down to 5, Milky Way appears washed out overhead and is lost completely near the horizon. But we do get some Milky Way, I think, from our area. Only now with 4, only well above the horizon does the Milky Way reveal any structure. Fine details are lost. You get down to Bortle 3 skies, Milky Way still appears complex. Dark voids and bright patches and meandering outline are all visible. When you get into Bortle 2 skies, summer Milky Way shows great detail and has veined appearance. And then when you're into Bortle 1 skies, Milky Way shows great detail and lots from the Scorpio Sagittarius region casts obvious shadows on the ground. That's the kind of sky you get in Mount Carlton.
Mhm.
When we're up there, when you can hold your hand out and your hand casts a shadow on the ground, you look up and it's just stars. So it's pretty amazing. Another part of it, maybe go back to this chart here. So maybe that's a little bit better. Some varying views of the Milky Way that you would get from different Bortle number skies. So we, like Mike said, Paul sits around Bortle 4 skies here. This is to be Mount Carlton skies. And then over here to our suburban, well, we're kind of suburban skies. I guess we're not really suburbs, but
Do you guys see the Milky Way at all?
I can
On
see
certain nights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now from the beach, yes, no problem at all.
Yeah.
From Saints Rest, and I think part, a large part of the reason though really is if you've flown over the city in the last few years, you'll notice that the city does appear darker from a plane, and it's because they have put in St. John Energy has gone through this LED lighting retrofit program. Now they didn't necessarily pick the right color lights for us, or for animals even, but they have full cutoff fixtures now, so the light is now pointing down. It's not lighting up the sky. Except when you go up around the Golden Mile, that kind of area on the west side, or I don't understand storefronts that keep their signs completely lit up at nights. No one's there anyway, and all you're doing is casting all that light up into the sky. But the more that you can deal with, the more that you can have a full cutoff fixture, even around your house, you're going to get a better opportunity to see the night sky. So from Saints Rest Beach now, we can see parts of the Milky Way. It actually stands out a lot more visible than it did just a few years ago from that project. I was really quite taken aback by the first time I was down there, and I know the project was just about over with, and I was down there and looking at the Milky Way like naked eye, easily visible. So yeah, it has improved a lot in St. John. I'm gonna stop sharing then. That's my little bit on that. Mike?
Just a quick little add-on to seeing and transparency. Your equipment is not helping, or transparency has nothing to do with your equipment, but seeing can. If you don't let your optics cool down to ambient temperature, then you've got those currents, air currents moving inside your optical tube, and that can affect the seeing. So you might look at a clear sky chart and say, it's saying that seeing looks really good, but you run outside with your scope and your scope's not cooled down properly, and you look in and it's not good. You're going, well, they told me the wrong information. No, they didn't. You have to allow your equipment to climatize before everything comes around and you get those nice steady views that you want to get. Big reflectors, like closed tube Dobsonians and stuff, that makes a huge difference. If you don't let them cool down, everything will be jumping around and moving around. It's like looking down a highway in the summer and you see that it looks like water on the highway, but it's not. You get that effect if you don't allow your optics to cool down. So seeing can be affected by your equipment, but transparency won't, because that's just what's in your way between the end of your optics and the object you're looking at, right? Be it smoke, clouds, fog, whatever. So
allow for dew, because you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing. Make sure you don't leave your dew heater at home, or bring along even some of those hot pads that you put, on your hands. Those work really well around a camera lens or around binoculars or small telescopes. You can put 3 or 4 of them around the end of your telescope and a refractor, and it will keep your glass fairly clear for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will just share one more thing here. This clear sky chart, I guess. So we'll go over here. Seeing that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a sample chart that we go to a lot to review. What's called a St. John clear sky chart. But if you type in your city, in your area, you're going to find there's a whole list here in New Brunswick of locations. But anyway, if you type at the top your city clear sky chart, it should pop up to something. So these all mean something, of course, for us, if we're going to go out to observe. For instance, tonight at the auroras, any good at all tonight, there's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, and that's showing a cloud cover as being fairly clear. So the bluer the value, the better. So in this case, this is a fairly clear sky, to about 10% covered. You can see after midnight here, it turns white, so that would be cloud cover. And you have cloud cover, transparency, you're seeing, which is a combination of your cloud cover, your transparency, and your wind and other factors, humidity, all gives into this seeing column here. So again, the darker the color, the better. Darker blue, the better. Of course, darkness doesn't come until that period of time. Here's your smoke index. So sometimes you get forest fires coming across the country, and you'll have that number will be a little bit higher because we'll get some smoke out of Quebec or whatever that'll drift across. Wind is a big one. If it is windy, that will cause a different image in your scope, depending on how high the winds are up and how strong they are. But it also causes your scope to shake a bit. So it doesn't matter how heavy your scope seems to be, it still has a bearing because it's acting like a sail, and it will move around a little bit, especially at high magnification. You'll notice it a lot more. So wind can be a big factor. Humidity, of course, is a factor. When that's a redder number, redder value, it's usually a higher humidity, and that's when you're going to have to look at dew heaters and other things to try to slow down the amount of humidity that your telescope collects. A dew shield is something that's your first line of defense on the telescope. It's basically a tube that fits over the front of your telescope that creates a small layer of air between your optics and the outside air temperature. And that little column tends to slow down the collection of humidity for a period of time. If it's really humid out, you're going to have to look at heaters, which are something that we've all been into before. 12-volt heaters that plug into a battery pack, and it can get a temperature control. It controls the amount of time that they're on, that type of thing. Temperature is also one, of course. Temperature, like Mike mentioned there about letting your scope cool down. If it's warmer outside, it may get to the outside air temperature quicker, but the colder it is, the deeper your temperature of your telescope will be, and it seems to be the sharper your images are going to be as well. So it may take longer to get there as well. But so these are all factors that are considered. And down here on the chart, it does describe the whole plan: cloud cover, transparency, what they all are, seeing conditions, darkness, smoke, wind, and temperature, and how they all affect each of your conditions. So I can click on any one of these. For example, here, this is 1 o'clock this afternoon. Let's go to 9 o'clock tonight. And up comes the chart for 9 o'clock tonight. So there's conditions. There we are in St. John, and sky conditions set. And then I can actually go to an animation of this, and I can move it ahead to my time, to whatever time I want it to be, and I can watch the progression of the systems that are coming over. Stop it whenever I like, and it'll give me my time up here. So if I'm planning on a particular time of night or a particular day of the week, I can look ahead here at 84 different shots, which are about an hour apart each, I believe. Yeah, they're an hour apart. So that's the conditions that we can view with a simple little chart like that. Another one's called Astrospheric. That's another one that's very popular as well for information.
Nice thing about this one too is that it's geared to your area specifically. You can just type in your location, and you'll get a reading for your location. I think, Mike, you've got your observatories on one of these, isn't it?
It's on both Astrospheric and that site, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Astrospheric is like another one similar to it. But anyway, that's the information that's available. That's a resource out there that's available to you if you want to look it up. If you're going to plan on going out tomorrow evening, and hey, look, there's some planets up tomorrow night, or there's a meteor shower or whatever, you want to be able to pick out, is it going to be a good night to go out and invest the time in going out? Environment, this all comes from Environment Canada as well. So. Okay.
Ooh, my transparency was going nuts.
There we go.
Mm.
Anyway, bottom line, I mean, guys around this area, and somebody sent me a message today asking about telescopes. But how do you find out what the best magnification is going to be? Because they were having trouble magnifying objects, through a scope. They're using a manual scope, so that's hard. First of all, you're trying to track an object, so the bigger you make the object, the faster it's going to go through your eyepiece. So you got to compensate a lot. But also ask, what are some of the things that you would be considering? And I did mention, seeing conditions is a big part of it. And what we're going to be able to see in the sky. A lot of guys start out in the wide field scope, maybe like a small one, and then they'll go to the big boys and get the nice big magnified views, and all of a sudden you're back to wide field again. Because you don't want the frustration of all the the air currents that are flowing over our Atlantic Canada part of the country. We get a lot of strong, we get the jet stream flowing right over us, and there's a lot of things to consider. I don't think I've had a telescope up over 300 power since that time at Fundy, maybe 6-7 years ago when we were down there, and I was able to get really nice views of Jupiter. 350 or 400 power. That's the only time I've ever had a telescope up that high. You're lucky to get 200 power around this part of the country on most nights.
Yeah. If you're in the States or a place where there's you're away from the coast and away from the jet stream, you can take advantage of a much more powerful telescope, more magnification, because everything is just so much steadier. Even imaging, you can actually go to larger tighter imaging scales, because you're not going to lose everything in seeing. So so it's all relevant, but you just got to know where you live, what's your average seeing condition, and from that you can base your optics on that.
Right. Yeah. You can get to better quality stuff here down in New Mexico versus St. John, New Brunswick, for sure.
Well, that's why there's the big 30-meter scopes are in Chile and not in Fredericton.
That's right.
Well, not only that, but they have that one place in Nevada has almost 250 nights of clear nights a year. 250 nights of clear skies a year, and we certainly don't get that on the coast. So
no,
we don't even get the remainder of that. That would be 100 bad nights. We get 250 bad nights.
So true.
Still worth it.
For sure. Let me bring up that one again just for a second. I'll stop here once we get this one up. I get it. Any windows open. I'll share one more time. It should be this guy. So this is the astrospheric one, which is another real popular one that we all use. Here we go. So here's the St. John astrospheric site. So almost the same data as before, although this one will reveal a little bit more information. Like we can actually get the KP number here as well. It's in there somewhere, right there. I think, yeah, KP of 6.7. I think it says overnight 7. It looks like, but there's where the cloud.
Yeah, you won't see it. So around 11:30 is your best chance to see it in our area.
So there's 9 o'clock for us. There's 10 o'clock for us. 11 o'clock for us, and then we're into.
I'm gonna head out anyway and see what I can get.
Yeah. So we may have an opportunity between 10 and 11, and the KP number is supposed to be around 6 at that time. Now that can bounce around a bit too. You could end up with 4. They don't know until it arrives really what we know a couple hours maybe ahead of time on what the effect is going to be.
But I like the fact that you can see there's 2 ISS passes tonight.
Right, there's the other thing. So the ISS passes are listed here as well.
And if you want an explanation of transparency and cloud cover, if you go down to the bottom of the scale and click on right there, go up and click on any one of those, it explains what they are. So that explains transparency and so on.
Yeah. So this is another very popular one. I mean, the clear sky chart is great, and this one helps back up the information, but it gives you a little bit more detail on cloud cover and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But like Mike said, there's the ISSs. They're actually passing by in the morning, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. This week it's all morning sky stuff. And then there's your wind direction and your temperature and humidity. They're all listed there. So lots of data on that page as well. So
sunrise and moonrise and sunset and moonset, the whole 9 yards.
So that's at astrospheric.com. Okay.
Good sight.
Those are the topics, I guess, that, that those are the parts of it that we would be considering when we're going out for an evening. If I'm going to plan something for a night, or if we got a public observing event, we'll know whether or not it's going to be a decent night, or we're just going to have to stand there and talk. So those are the things that happen with our maritime skies. We see a whole lot more of that type of stuff, but
Yeah.
we just we have to be. You learn patience pretty quickly in this hobby. You have. Or you learn frustration, one of the two, but frustration usually turns to patience after a while. And,
Therein lies another good point. So that for those people who are looking to buy telescopes and they live on the East Coast, get something that's small and portable that you can take out in a minute and put back in your car in a minute, because that's how fast our weather changes here anyway. And so you'll be a lot less frustrated if you don't have to spend, 3/4 of an hour setting up when something comes in. You just get a moment that you want to grab something like Chris is going to show you. That would be another reason for somebody who's just getting into this hobby to take more advantages of getting outside, because you'll keep that in the back of your car if you want to, and it's always just at the ready.
Yeah, you maybe you might have maybe you got a half an hour to look at the moon, so you can kind of set that up outside on the picnic table, or can actually there's actually a guy called Eyes in the Sky, Richard Fuller, who does a talk, who has a really good YouTube channel, but on his website he actually shows you how to build a tripod to support one of these, and it's just made out of 3 pieces of 2x4 and a small piece of plywood on the top. And he uses that, just folds it up, throws it in the car, and grabs one of these, and away he goes. And I mean, that'll give you you can build it to whatever height you want to, which is comfortable for you as well. Right? So these are nice. They're a nice little package for those quick times when you don't know whether or not it's going to be the sky's going to cooperate for you. Okay, I think we beat that one to death.
Yes.
We'll move on to albino bud then next.
How bad? He's here somewhere.
Okay, so people are here saying, hoping to catch a glimpse of on Cape Breton on the East Coast. Do you think it's likely? I think it's likely. I'm going to show you the NOAA space weather. Once we get done these few talks, we'll get into the NOAA space weather update and what they're showing at the moment. And a couple of the apps that I'm looking at are still saying that the skies are that the display is cooperating, like the predicted display is still cooperating. The weather is going to be the big call. So anyway, let's go back to Barno Bud. Nice, Mike.
Ready? Alrighty, binocular target of the week this week by Bino Bud is, and it better be good seeing conditions to get it. Mizar and Al Gore. You're seeing double.
That's a great one.
Oh, Mizar and Alcor, 2 stars forming a naked eye, if it's clear, double in the handle of the Big Dipper asterism in the constellation of Ursa Major. Mizar is the 2nd star from the end of the Big Dipper's handle, and Alcor is its fainter companion. The ability to resolve Mizar and Alcor with the naked eye is often quoted as a test of eyesight. Although even people with poor eyesight can say they can see 2 stars. I can't, I see 1. Mizar and Alcor was the first binary system that they ever discovered, by the way, just on top of that. Where do I find it in the sky? Well, at 10 o'clock tonight when it's dark, if you oriented yourself 15 degrees northeast and look pretty much straight up, you're going to see the Big Dipper in all its glory. You find the handle, there's the bottom star of the handle, 2nd star in, guess what? There's Mizar and Alcor right in here. And again, there's the Big Dipper. Follow down the handle, 2nd one in, you should see, if good eyes, 2 stars. In 10 by 50 binoculars, you will definitely see 2 stars. Okay, they're split apart. One's bigger and brighter, and the other one's a little dimmer, but you'll see both stars there, no problem at all. Compared to the full moon, well, I would say between the 2 of them, you probably hit the width of the full moon in general. So it's not a difficult object to see, but there is a surprise. What are you actually looking at? Well, Mizar itself, Alcor is 1, Mizar is also a double. And you go, wow, that's cool. So it's 1, 2, 3 stars, right? Nope. Guess what? Mizar A and B are doubles and Alcor is a double. So it's 6 stars in all when you think, and we're worried about splitting 2. So it's actually a sextuplet. So just remember when you're looking up trying to split those 2 stars, Mizar and Alcor, it's actually 6 stars that you're splitting. And there's a difference between monocular and binocular. And that's binocular target of the week by Bino Bud.
Thanks, Mike. Another great one. That's an easy target, like you say. It's a great one for people to check out.
Yeah.
Easy to check out. And
Pretty much straight up this time of night when it gets dark.
right. And like you say, naked eye visibility is a target too. So sure. Okay. How about we go to WhatsApp then quick? Not very many things coming up in the sky this week, so we'll have to go quickly through it. Then we're going to go to a Rosanna talk right after that. Yeah. Let me get my right screen. Where's it going to pop up? It's going to pop on that one. Okay, so close it again. Here we go. There's the games. I know. Can't drag it from one to the other. It's going to be shared on. No, hang on. Stop sharing. On screen. Bear with me.
Where's that guitar?
And where is that guitar?
Yeah, I didn't think I needed it anymore.
Let's not get it on that one. Let's go to this one. I think. Now I'll see where it goes. Okay, it's going over there. Now it's better. Yep, okay. 1 sec. Here we go. Share screen. And we're going to screen 1. There. Let's see what that does.
Beanie us.
Okay, what's
What's up?
What's that?
What's up?
Here's my other. Still missing the screen. Hang on. There. Okay. What's up this week? Okay, let's take a look. Monday, May 8th and Tuesday, May 9th. Venus greets Messier 35. Tomorrow evening, brilliant Venus greets the open star cluster Messier 35 in Gemini tomorrow evening and Tuesday evening. Messier 35 is a large open star cluster. Now, the cluster consists of several hundred stars. The cluster's brightest stars can be resolved in 10 by 50 binoculars. Small telescopes will reveal some of the fainter stars, while 6-inch and 8-inch telescopes at low magnifications show a field full of stars across the whole cluster. Another nice target, like a nice Bino Bud target. On Friday, going all the way to Friday now, the third quarter moon. The third of last quarter moon arrives on Friday at 11:28 8 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. With the last quarter moon, the left half appears to be lit up by sunshine and the rest is immersed in shadow. The third quarter moon doesn't rise until midnight or slightly after midnight and is not at its highest until around dawn. The quarter moon aims its terminator, the day-night line that is home to all that juicy detail, straight at us. It lies directly ahead of us as Earth is zooming through the universe. This means highlighted craters then face us, revealing many of their interesting features. So always follow that terminator line if you've got any kind of a phase of a moon like this, and follow along that line and you'll get to see a whole lot more detail. And binoculars are an excellent tool for that. Saturday morning, moon near Saturn. So on Saturday morning, look to the southeast to find our waning crescent moon as it greets the ring beauty Saturn. You will need to set the clock quite early, though, as sunrise will take place at 5:56 that day. Yike. It's an early sunrise, so get out there by 4 o'clock.
I'm up early. I like it.
Easy Wednesday, yeah. Okay, this is one here that I find kind of interesting coming up. This is until the following week, but I just want to bring it up now so people know about it. Here we are, Wednesday, May 17th, the lunar occultation of Jupiter. So hoping for clear skies for this one on Wednesday next week. Watch for a rare lunar occultation of Jupiter. Now, the event will happen in daytime sky from 8:56 until 9:56 Atlantic time. Telescopes will provide the best view, but it should be visible with binoculars as well. So if you can find the moon, the daytime sky, watch for it, and little bright Jupiter disappearing behind it and coming out the other side again an hour later. So those are always nice occultations. From there, we're going to go to Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More. Lisa puts out this great chart every month. Again, you can see there's not a whole lot of events happening throughout the month of May, but we've got some. You can follow Lisa, though, at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, Mastodon, and Facebook. And this chart, she puts out the event, the date of the event, the peak time, do that in your time zone, adjust for your time zone. And then your seeing tools, naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. Now, I'm going to mention something else here. This is something called the Sky Experience 2024. And I'm going to tell you the reason why we're mentioning this tonight. There is an incredibly rare total solar eclipse coming on April 8th, 2024. It will be one of nature's most magnificent performances. Cliff Valley Astronomy, the innovative company behind many astrotourism events, has created a special event called Sky Experience 2024. This 3-day, 2-night retreat is an all-inclusive experience that will provide all the accommodations, gourmet meals, activities, and speakers, such as Richard Jarowski, Trevor Jones, and Robin, Lisa, and Fanning. You'll be right in the center of the path to totality in Doketown, New Brunswick. This event is for the avid astronomers, astrophotographers, and anyone who is interested in experiencing this total solar eclipse on a level they will never forget. Do not miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime experience. He has 70% sold out now. Please visit Cliff Valley Astronomy's website for more details, and you can find them at cliffvalleyastronomy.com. That's a Sky Experience 2024 for the solar eclipse next April 8th. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because he's also helping to sponsor our next contest. We have another Shoot the Moon contest coming up. So we've done this before a few times, and it's fairly simple. Contest is going to begin on May 20th and ends at midnight on June the 5th. Now, the contest has 2 entry levels. There's a children's level and an adults, which will be 12 and up. Now, adults, take a new, quote, new image of the moon and send it into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. So no used ones. If you send me a full moon one on the first day, then I'll know it's not new. The idea here is to get you outside and take a look up at the sky and enjoy the moon. Now we're going to have the second part. We did this once before. It worked out really well. So for children, I want you to get to draw an image of what you might see through a telescope or binoculars, planets, aliens, whatever, and have your parents send an image of your drawing to the same address. Well, the prizes for adults are going to include a $100 gift certificate for any of the Dark Sky Destination partners, Deep Sky Eye, Storytown Cottages, Glamping by the Sea, and Falcon Ridge Inn, to name some of them, and more. There'll be more prizes as well as that. For the children's entries, 2 child-friendly telescopes, and lots of books and lots more. So the contest details will be posted on my page soon. And thank you to Cliff Valley Astronomy for their sponsorship. So that's what's coming up. And that's why it's in the What's Up talk. This is our calendar from St. John Astronomy Club and the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. So this is a calendar that Kurt Mason puts together for us. And he has 6 weeks on here coming up for the next 6 weeks. The calendar can be downloaded at sjastronomy.ca or at rasknb.ca. So all the major events that are happening, there's the lunar occultation coming up. And then what's this? Day Venus, moon 2 degrees left of Venus. Oh, in the daytime sky, I guess. Yeah. So there's another kind of cool event. We start to look at star parties coming up at the end of June here. The Kuujjuaq Star Party on 16th and 17th of June. So we'll be talking more about star parties very soon as well. Okay. And that's about it for this week's What's Up, because it's a really short talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
So looking forward to our next moon contest. And they always go over well. We always get lots of entries, and I'm really looking forward to having the kids contribute this time around as well. Lots of fun to see those ones.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go from there then to Rosanna.
Yeah.
Hello, Rosanna. And what's the fun fact this week?
I never thought it.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey. Welcome back, Rosanna, for another absolutely fun fact, as they all are. And this week she said, I'm not going to send any music clips. Last week I was stuck on repeat. Remember that? Oh, you need, what was that, jump? I guess I should have jumped. Anyway, I didn't. And anyway, it was fun. Okay, so Rosanna writes, this week was Star Wars week and also Black Hole week. And in honor of the Black Hole week, NASA released an excellent short video. I'm going to play it for you, or I'm going to try to. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So that's where we're starting. So the video puts the hard to imagine sizes of the black holes into visual perspective, taking you on a journey from the sun past many black holes, past M87's black hole, all the way out to Ton 618 black hole, which is in a galaxy so far away from us that the light from this galaxy took more than 10 billion years to reach us. That's unbelievable. Ton's mass, of course, is 66 billion suns, makes it amongst the biggest currently known. And that, of course, is what you're looking at right there. Now, M87's black hole picture is probably very familiar to us all by now, as it is the first black hole ever to be imaged. The image has been used to explain when cookie recipe doesn't turn out. Astrobiologist Dr. Graham Lau put on a little chart to help any astronomy-minded bakers determine what possibly causes cookie fails to happen. So, oops, you added too much either butter, sugar, flour, baking soda, eggs, or too much mass. That's good. Speaking of fails, not really a total fail. In March, Relativity's Terrain 1 rocket passed Mass Q and reached space on its inaugural launch, but at secondary stage failed, preventing it from reaching orbit. Which makes this rocket different is that 85% of it, including its 9 engines, were crafted from 3D printing. That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
So Relativity has retired the Terrain 1 rocket and is now focusing on creating Terran R, a heavy 2-stage, partially reusable launch lift vehicle, once again built mostly through 3D printing. At 270 feet long with an 18-foot diameter, that's a mind-boggling amount of 3D printing. Hey, Mike.
Well, yeah, figure my little bit.
But if 3D printing can make you a fully personalized heart sensor, then I guess rocket science is just as doable as in astronomical proportions. Since I mentioned cookies, you might think the next photo is a close-up of a sizzling pancake batter with almost enough bubbles bursting to make it ready to flip. But no, this is just a released video of never before seen parts of the moon. ShadowCam, a hypersensitive camera provided by NASA to fly on Korea's Denuri lunar orbiter takes high-resolution images like the one above, or permanently shadowed regions of the lunar south pole. Although these areas never receive any direct sunlight, ShadowCam is sensitive enough to capture detailed images using only a tiny amount of sunlight reflected off the Earth or off nearby mountains and crater walls. The image above shows rim of Marvin Crater in a general area of interest for future crewed missions. And there's another video, which I'm not going to put up, or even just Google NASA's ShadowCam. You will see more great shots using just Earthshine to bring out never before seen and some barely ever seen features. That's pretty cool. Fun fact, a little sunlight goes a long way. Some permanently shadowed craters of the moon receive so little sunlight that they are colder than most of the surface of Pluto, which is almost 3 billion miles further away from the sun. Now that's pretty cool. So yet another week of weird and wonderful space news. Now I have a question for Star Wars fan. If May the 4th is May the 4th be with you, what is the next day? Is it Revenge of the Sith? Or is that on May the 6th? Maybe it depends on whether you have teeth in, or maybe if you have teeth in or not.
Oh,
Ah,
Now look at this. Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th? Oh, there's two there are. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
yay!
they're always so
That is
cool.
awesome. That is awesome.
That's so cool, always.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh, I never heard of that camera. I'll have to look that one up. But that's incredible that they can get those shots in, where there's no light virtually.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, just using what little reflective light there is coming off of whatever's out there. It's unbelievable.
Kind of hope that doesn't point towards the sun and fry the camera.
But even
yeah, that's-
even cooler than that is the size of that black hole that's out there.
Yeah.
Mm.
How long it took for its light to get here.
So I'm thinking about light from a black hole.
Well, that
It's the
light-
event horizon and
Yeah.
light that's the
Yeah,
stuff
that-
that's bubbling up and spitting out.
Yeah, that got picked up. But in any event, I mean, think about just our sun, how large it is to us, and then take the mass of those suns that it takes for that black hole. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't even fathom the size of that thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's fast.
very cool stuff. Thank you, Rosanna. Awesome.
Thank you, Rosanna. Awesome. Again. Maybe I'll just do a quick update then on the Aurora because I'm getting a lot of comments on it here. So I'll bring up the page that's showing me the conditions at the moment, I guess. Just bear with me here. So this is new, I guess. No, this is going to be this one. Wait, it loads there. So this is current, I guess, as of May the 8th. It says at 0:40, so midnight UTC time, which would be we're 3 hours behind that, so 9 o'clock roughly. That's our time right now. This is the update.
Down that far, is it?
Yeah, it's not. So they're looking for KP6 now, I guess here. They can go back to the main page. And they're still saying a G3 strong, but I think we had up to G4 last time around.
Yeah, we had G4 severe last time.
Yeah, so let's go down here to I'll watch this Aurora forecast and we'll see what's happening right now, current time. Click on that. And you're going to see this go around as we get to our daylight side here coming up. This is earlier today. We'll just watch it here together. And this green area, of course, is the area that we're concerned about. The darker this is, the better. Closer to red it is, the better. Farther south it goes. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here tonight. It may have, I don't think they're really sure.
Yeah, the short forecast I have says KP6 within the hour.
Yeah,
And, right now it's a 2.
too, yeah, so. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Is this going to change when it arrives? Like the forecasted KP4 tomorrow, the forecast KP6 tonight and the range is from 0 to 9, and the G scale they're down to 2 now, I guess. And it's going from 0 to 5, so it's not going to be at the strength that it was last go around as far as the predictions go. What else can I say about that except for that's the data, that's the current data right now. So I would probably check that again in maybe an hour and see if it's improved any. I'm just at the Space Weather Prediction Center page, current space weather conditions. So maybe it won't be as good as last go. But I can share this, which is the app that I'm using. So this is Aurora Alerts, it's called. And this is the app that I'm using. And if I look there, you can see that looks like that one. There's a 7. You get a 2, Paul? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 7 is the where it says tomorrow. There's not quite focused around well. It's just tomorrow. The first number there says 7, and that's from midnight till 3 a.m. And then it drops to 6 and then down to 5. But earlier tonight it does show a KP level of 6 in both cases. So what does that mean for our area? Well, from St. John, the KP is 6. I've been out with KP 6 and seen you could almost see a glow at the horizon, but
Yeah, they're saying on this chart that you're looking at about 4% above the horizon.
4%, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not going to probably get the overhead stuff.
No.
They don't know any more than we know. What I mean, I've seen the weather reports coming in saying it's clear sky tonight, and then 2 hours later, where'd all the cloud come from?
Yeah.
You know, the best view for us in that case is a satellite view, which shows us what's exactly happening. NOAA tries to update their page on a regular basis, and all the apps tend to get their information from NOAA. So I would be watching that maybe another half hour and see if the predicted circle there, that Aurora circle, has dropped any. If it's not available here locally, there's another way to see it, and there's you can type in Aurora Watch Live or Aurora webcams on Google, and it'll bring up several sites across Canada and into parts of Europe that will be offering live views tonight. So even if it's not great here, farther up towards the north to the Arctic Circle, you're going to get better views, right?
Yep.
So not sure what I'm going to do tonight. Not sure whether to go out for it or not. But it's a bit disappointing. But something, we're still 2 years away from solar maximum. We're not supposed to hit solar maximum till sometime mid-2025. And even though when we hit the peak, which means that just means more solar activity, you saw that a large group of sunspots there today. Mike's got some pictures of them and stuff. We're going to be at the peak, but we're still going to come down the other side, and we're going to take a few years to come down the other side before we get the minimum too. We get another 5.5 years to get down that side. So we still have time, even though we hit the peak on the opposite side of the peak, that we still have opportunities like this. So I'm not ruling it out yet. We're still a long way away from solar maximum yet, and still lots of activity happening even today. So if it's disappointing, I'm sorry that it is, but I try to put the information out there. I don't like posting Aurora predictions because you just I went out last night and spent all that time and got nothing.
Something, it's like,
but if he didn't say something, then he'd say, why did you mention it?
it's like lining up the holes in Swiss cheese. When the holes in the Swiss cheese line up, you get good Aurora shots.
Yeah.
90% of the time, they don't line up. So you just hope that Swiss cheese, the holes line up. That's all.
Yeah.
So
We had Swiss cheese a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. We had clear sky a couple of weeks ago, and this is partly cloudy to cloudy skies. So how long the skies are going to last too. So all I can do is provide the information. I guess I have to let people make their own call.
Now, do you put $20 in the machine and pull the handle, hoping to win $1 million? That's your best shot.
Probably a better shot.
$20?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Isn't that the one in Halifax? You put $20 in and pull the handle.
Yeah. Not a cloud in the sky here in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, but whether or not it's going to get down that low to you, Yvonne, that's a whole question.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we're doing the best that we can to try to share information. I'd like to put it out there just to tell people to be
Just be aware.
It's not, it's not, our area of the country, maybe not, but there are followers here from Alberta and.
Well, that's the reason why you might want to download these apps, because when it's on your phone, is for you. It uses your phone's data, knows where you are, and then you can see, keep an eye on it yourself.
Yeah, and my phone is set up for app alerts, so it'll be like several times throughout the day telling me there's a radio blackout or whatever, solar flare on its way or whatever. You can set that
I
up.
used to have a balloon that would send me all that information, but they shot it down, so.
Okay, let's go to some photos then tonight. Let me bring them up. And I just need to get my notes. Where's our guitar? No guitar.
Fling, fling, fling.
Playing,
I can
playing.
play the Mac Cass.
That's okay.
Is that Mama Cass or is that Matt Cass?
Mac Cass, yeah. Mac Cass.
Is over here. And I just got to get the right screen shared. Share this one. Come on. Okay. Okay, got some moon pictures here because people were catching the full flower moon the other night, so that was kind of nice. So started out here with Denise Gautier's pictures. She says sending a picture of the moon last night from Moncton. It sure was beautiful. I like this photo because of the rooftop trees and power lines included in the foreground. This photo can be added to your Sunday night astronomy show. We appreciate that. Thanks for sharing.
Nice.
Nice, Denise. We got these ones from Clayton Carr from St. Martin's. He says it was a hazy start to the moon from St. Martin's, but we've got a few here. Nice capture there.
Yeah, that's neat.
And there,
Good,
St.
yeah.
Martin's. And there, I know where he was.
That's a nice shot.
Quaco.
He
I
got
think
light
that's
house, yeah.
Quaco. Yeah, that's Quaco, I think.
Nice job. Thanks, Clayton. Next up is going to be Kathy Shaw. Got this one here at the beach.
Oh, that's nice, eh?
You'll join us there at the beach when we're watching the moon rise at the Irving Nature Park. Thanks, Kathy. This one came in from Jamie Bohannon.
That was still quite low, eh? See how squashy it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah.
When it first broke the horizon, there was no detail really at all.
Yeah.
No.
This was from Carol Bean from St. Stephen.
Nice.
Nice,
Shot
yeah.
Carol. Yeah, she always does some great work there too. Joe McGraw sent this one in.
That's very nice, eh?
That's cool.
Nice.
It almost looks like stitches on a baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these were added to my Facebook page. I love the fact that people interact and provide me with their views, what they're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Kate
the
Amber.
reflection.
This one came from Kate Amber. Nice reflection there.
Yeah, I
That's
love
really
And we got this one from Pamela Beatty.
Oh, wow.
Another here from Jamie Phillips.
There you go.
There we go. Nice stuff in the foreground. Melissa Marie sent these ones in. This one here. And
wow.
this one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very
that's
nice.
great.
Well done.
Street sign, right? Street light just down below.
Yeah, cool. Can do set. I had mentioned that there was a ring around the moon, looked like Saturn, and Tim said there was one around the sun there too. So he got that one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Some Tim. From there, we're going to go to Brad Perry. His
Oh,
shot.
nice.
Yeah, Fredericton, is that where he is?
Yeah,
Remember?
full moon in Fredericton's Christ Church Cathedral, he says.
Very nice.
Yeah, really nice.
And then we got this one here, 104th Regiment of Footbridge at the Pedway.
That's
Right on.
cool, eh?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the guy or whoever that was there was a long way from him.
I think he said he was messaging him back and forth. Am I standing in the right spot? I think he
Oh,
said.
really?
Yeah.
It's long distance, you know.
He's in probably another area code.
Nicely done, Brad. We go there with Mr. Powell. Got the
Oh,
beach.
yeah.
I think.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
Pretty blurry, like I said, coming up over the hill.
still though. Like
Yeah.
there's that.
There's that really blobby shaped moon.
Yeah.
We were talking about going through the atmosphere, and that's what atmosphere does. Or atmosphere is what it does
Yeah.
to it.
Oh, does it ever?
Distortion.
Just shimmering down there.
Yeah,
You can see the edges are just all over the place.
yeah,
But a pretty sight, though.
yeah. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
beautiful.
very nice.
We couldn't determine if that was a cloud or a UFO going through it, though.
There's a ring around it too. So
Yeah.
there's the final shot. Nice shot, Mike. It's done.
Yeah. Well done.
Of course, the sun's been active too. Mike got a shot of the sun there today. Is it today, Mike?
Yeah, this morning at 9:30.
These sunspots. I mean, so it would take 108 Earths lined up in a row across this way to cover the face of the sun. So you can figure how big these spots are.
What
If
a
100, it will take over 108 to go across it this way. So they're very, very big. Lots of factors around.
Active.
Yeah, so very, very active sun.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Chris Benoit's picture.
Yeah, you got a nice shot too.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Chris. And here's another one from Chris. Different color.
That's the monochromed image.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, the
Trudy,
sun's not orange.
yeah. Here's Trudy's famous shots again from Split Rock down there.
Yeah, she got it again, eh?
Well done, eh? Oh,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Really
I just love it. I never get tired of looking at that.
Yeah. So you got the same clouds. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. And there's a
As it gets higher.
yeah,
The reflection coming through the rock. Wow, isn't that crazy?
yeah.
Beautiful.
And from there, Mr. Roland's shot.
There you go.
Morning sky.
And that was actually the moon's setting.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was that I get up with early in the morning because I wanted to get the moon setting, and that's exactly what that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the reflection. It just like starts at the tree line. Boom.
Yeah, it's right over the Canopus River.
Cool.
And I got to get this guy because I like him. He's my favorite.
There you go.
Mr. Roland's shot is my pterodactyl.
Isn't that the Minions boss?
You know something? I was watching them how he fishes, and
Yeah.
you see if you look at his toes,
Yeah.
right down. Just can you go up a little? There you go. Those long things. He'll actually, as he walks really slow, he'll dip that in the water, and he'll start to move them like worms.
Is that right?
He pulls it out, and then he'll
Yes, sir.
walk really slow, and he'll dip it down and again. That's why lots of times there's always one of those things sitting in the water because he's
Yes,
trying
sir.
to attract fish with the
Yes,
toe.
sir. He's a
So-
creepy guy.
Yeah, I never realized that until I watched him. I watched him about an hour and a half. I said, "That bugger, that's what he's doing."
Look, his legs are made of wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're
Look at the
eating
face.
machines, right? They just
You
eat.
got that look on his face like Despicable Me.
He's cool. He's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And there's your shot, Paul. You were mentioning, but that's your H alpha shot. Was it they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was just like one frame from an old DSLR. But I just wanted to have a look at the prominences.
Yeah, look at them
Yeah, and there's so many things going on.
everywhere.
Yeah, unbelievable. They're just they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a great image, but it was more for the prominences than anything else. I just
It's a
want,
busy dot. I'll tell you that.
oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much going on. Unbelievable.
Of course, if you got photos you want to send in, please send them in to us at astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We love getting them. We love sharing them as well, of course. So thanks very much for all those photos. And we're going to be looking forward to your entries for the moon contest coming up soon.
Yes.
Well, I guess that's probably our closing moments, I guess, guys. So another show out of the way. Number 176 is over. Okay, so then in closing then tonight, thanks again for all of your support. Of course, special thanks again, of course, to Rosanna for all her continued contribution to the program. Rosanna, we really appreciate it. We'd do the same show without you. Also, special thanks goes out to Trudy and all those who continually share our program for us. We also hope that those of you who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program tonight. Now, if you would like more information about the night sky, you can find me at astronomybythebay.ca. Remember, too, we do love getting your photos, so send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them in our next broadcast. And please let your friends and family know that we will be here next Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to edutain you. These guys made fun of me. I didn't say it right. Edutain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. Now, soon we're going to be making an announcement about what we're going to be doing for our summer months. We are going to be taking a bit of a break through the summer. We're not sure exactly what the schedule is going to be yet. We're talking about it amongst ourselves, but we know that people are out enjoying the summer Sunday nights. So we're looking forward to another regular schedule again come fall. But we'll be talking to you a little bit about what our schedule is going to be throughout the summer. So we're not quite there yet, but it's coming up soon. So anyway, from now then, from Mike and Paul and myself, we wish you a safe week, everybody. Lots of clear skies, we hope. Good luck with the aurora if you do get a chance to get out and see them tonight. And as we'd like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Or Mike, Paul, point it up. Paul, point it up. There you go. Come on, guys.
I'm trying to find the tunes.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.